At 48, Rasheeda Frost is done playing the loyal wife, and this time, she's naming names and spilling everything. After years of cheating rumors, public humiliation, and whispered scandals on and off Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, Rasheeda has finally broken her silence in the most explosive way possible. And trust us, it's not just about Kirk this time, it's about the baby mama, the secret meetings, and the betrayal that shattered Rasheeda's last ounce of trust. Sources close to the Frost family say Rasheeda recently uncovered new evidence. When she saw it, something in her snapped. What she did next has left fans shocked, friends divided, and Kirk scrambling to do damage control. Insiders are calling it the moment Rasheeda stopped pretending. Gone is the calm, composed businesswoman. What we're seeing now is a woman pushed to her breaking point. In a private but secretly recorded confrontation, Rasheeda allegedly called out Kirk and his baby mama, face to face, demanding answers for years of lies and betrayal. And get this, when Rasheeda dropped the receipts, even the baby mama couldn't keep her mouth shut. This isn't just another fight. This is the final eruption in a volcano that's been building for over a decade. So, what did Rasheeda find? Why is the baby mama suddenly trying to play victim? And is this finally the end of Rasheeda and Kirk for good? Buckle up, because we're about to take you inside the most jaw-dropping chapter of this messy saga that has everyone talking. It all began with a late-night phone call, one Rasheeda never expected, one that would shatter the illusion she had been clinging to for far too long. It was close to midnight when Rasheeda's phone rang, a blocked number flashing across the screen. Something in her gut told her not to answer, but curiosity, that relentless itch, took over. When she picked up, there was a pause. And then, a woman's voice, low and shaking but sharp with intent. "You deserve to know what Kirk's still doing behind your back." Rasheeda's heart skipped. She had heard whispers before, dealt with rumors, and even sat across the table from women claiming to be involved with her husband. But this voice was different. It sounded like someone who wasn't seeking revenge. It sounded like someone tired. What followed were texts, screenshots, videos, messages that painted a picture so disturbing, so calculated, that even Rasheeda, battle-worn and heartbreak-hardened, felt the ground beneath her shift. For years, she had stood by Kirk through scandal after scandal. The infamous DNA test, the hotel nights, the emotional manipulation. But this wasn't just some side chick. This was Jasmine, the baby mama, resurfacing with claims that Kirk had never truly let go. Not only that, but he had allegedly been financially supporting her. In secret, using money from their joint business account, money Rasheeda thought was going to the family brand. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. This man had allegedly been playing both sides, smiling in Rasheeda's face, filming scenes for the show, like a changed man, while allegedly sneaking off for business trips that always seemed to happen when Jasmine needed support for their son. Rasheeda didn't scream. She didn't cry, not at first. What she did was quieter, colder. She went through the transactions, cross-referenced receipts, checked timestamps on those text messages against Kirk's calendar. And when the evidence began aligning, her chest tightened with a rage so sharp it made her tremble. But she kept her cool, because this time, Rasheeda wasn't going to confront him with just emotions. She was going to confront him with facts. She planned her move like a chess player nearing the endgame. And her first step, a conversation with someone she never thought she'd speak to again, Jasmine. With cameras off and lawyers on standby, Rasheeda arranged a private meeting at a downtown Atlanta cafe. She showed up wearing all black, shades on, lips tight. Jasmine was already there, hair down, face bare, like she had something to prove, or maybe nothing left to hide. "You called me. Now talk," Rasheeda said as she sat down. Jasmine didn't flinch. Instead, she reached into her purse and pulled out a slim folder. Inside were more receipts, Uber records, screenshots of recent messages, a few hotel bookings that lined up suspiciously well with Kirk's alleged video shoots. Rasheeda leaned in, silent but burning. Jasmine spoke softly. "I know, you don't owe me anything, but he's been lying to both of us. Again." There it was, that damn again. Rasheeda could feel herself unraveling but kept her composure. "You're telling me after all these years, you're still messing with him?" she asked. "Not anymore," Jasmine replied. "I just needed you to know, because I'm tired of him dragging us both through the mud." The two women sat there, not as rivals, but as two pawns in Kirk's messy, self-serving game. And in that moment, an unlikely silent alliance was formed, not for friendship, but for truth. Rasheeda left that meeting knowing what she had to do. She went home and waited. Kirk arrived late that night, smelling faintly of cologne he didn't own and stress he couldn't hide. "You good?" he asked, kicking off his shoes. Rasheeda didn't answer. She just stared. When he turned to face her, she held up the folder Jasmine had given her. "Explain this," she said. Kirk froze. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. She threw the folder on the table. "This is your mess. And now, it's public." Kirk grabbed the folder, flipping through it like it was the first time he was seeing it. "This is old," he said weakly. "We've been over this." "No, Kirk," Rasheeda snapped, her voice low but slicing. "This is from 3 weeks ago. That hotel is 10 minutes from our store. And you were supposed to be in Miami." She stood, eyes wet, but steel hard. "How long you think you can keep playing both of us? Huh? How long before I lose everything? Trying to protect your name?" Kirk paced, rubbed his head, and started his usual script. "Babe, you don't understand the pressure I'm under. Don't babe me," she shot back. "I built this life with you. I swallowed every scandal. I raised your outside child. I fought off the world for you. And you repay me with this?" The room was quiet for a beat too long. Kirk dropped into a chair, suddenly exhausted. "It's not what it looks like," he mumbled. Rasheeda shook her head, finally letting the tears fall. "It never is, Kirk. Until it is." The next morning, the drama exploded in the most unexpected way. One of the Frost's longtime friends leaked details of the confrontation to a gossip blog. Within hours, social media was ablaze. Fans were divided, some furious at Kirk, others questioning Rasheeda's loyalty to herself. How many times she gone take him back? One tweet read, "Rasheeda deserves peace," said another. And then came the firestorm of comments under Jasmine's page, where she posted a cryptic caption, "The truth always comes out. No matter how long it takes." Rasheeda saw it all. And instead of hiding, she did something no one expected. She posted a video. No filter, no makeup, just Rasheeda sitting in her kitchen, looking tired but firm. "I've been quiet too long," she said. "But some things can't be ignored anymore." She didn't name names. She didn't need to. The internet knew exactly who and what she was talking about. And just like that, the silence was broken. The image of the perfect Frost marriage had cracked hand now. The pieces were about to come crashing down. Rasheeda's video set off a tidal wave, one that couldn't be stopped, silenced, or spun by any PR team. Her voice, calm but edged with exhaustion, carried more weight than any scandal ever could. Within minutes, fans flooded her comment section with messages of support, heartbreak, and anger. "We watched you ride for this man for over a decade," one wrote. "You gave him everything. He gave you embarrassment." The internet had spoken, and this time, it wasn't just angry followers looking for drama. It was a movement. People were reposting old clips from Love and Hip Hop, connecting dots, digging into past seasons with renewed fury. "She always knew," one viral TikTok claimed, "but knowing and proving are two different things." And now, Rasheeda had proof. While the internet fumed, Kirk tried to lay low, but hiding wasn't an option anymore. Paparazzi caught him, entering a recording studio in Buckhead the next day, his head low, his phone glued to his ear. Eyewitnesses said he looked shaken, like he finally realized Rasheeda's done saving him. Meanwhile, Jasmine, clearly feeling emboldened, did a live Q&A on Instagram. And what she said had everyone gagged. "I didn't come back to be messy," she claimed. "I came back to tell my truth. Kirk's been in my life this whole time. We were off and on, but he always found his way back. I believed him when he said things with Rasheeda were just for the cameras." That one line, "for the cameras," hit like a punch to the gut. Fans rushed to Rasheeda's defense, flooding Jasmine's live with comments like, "Girl, he played you too, and don't act like a victim when you helped ruin her peace." Back at the Frost home, things were no better. Rasheeda had moved into the guest wing, refusing to sleep in the master bedroom she once shared with Kirk. The energy was cold, tense, like two strangers occupying the same house. But the real heat came when their eldest son, Kai, got involved. "I'm tired of watching you hurt my mom," he reportedly told Kirk during a family sit-down. "You keep making excuses, but you never change." Kirk, cornered by his own blood, tried to defend himself. "It's more complicated than that, son." But Kai wasn't having it. "No, it's not. You cheat, you lie, and we're the ones cleaning up after you every time." The room fell silent. Rasheeda turned her face away, tears forming again. Even their younger children, too young to grasp the full picture, felt the tension hanging like a storm cloud. The Frost family was cracking and the public was watching it unfold in real time. Producers from Love and Hip Hop allegedly reached out, eager to capture the fallout. But Rasheeda wasn't ready to turn this pain into a storyline, not yet. Instead, she turned inward, diving into her work, showing up at press every day like clockwork, refusing to let the scandal define her. But the whispers followed her everywhere. In interviews, in emails, even among close friends who didn't know what to say anymore. One longtime friend, a hairstylist who had worked with Rasheeda since the early seasons, reportedly said, "This broke her. She's been through everything, but this time feels different. This time, she's tired." But just when fans thought things couldn't get more intense, another twist surfaced her. Second woman. A young boutique owner from Houston came forward, claiming Kirk had been mentoring her for the past year, and the text she posted on her story painted a very familiar picture: flirty emojis, promises of business investments, hotel confirmations. Her receipts weren't as concrete as Jasmine's, but they were damning enough. "He told me he was separated," she claimed. "I had no idea he was still trying to make things work with Rasheeda." The story exploded. Now there were two women, both accusing Kirk of deception, both pointing fingers, both saying they were misled by the same man. Rasheeda didn't respond publicly, but insiders say that night, she packed a bag. Not a dramatic suitcase for the camera moment, just a quiet, firm decision. She left for her mother's house in Decatur, reportedly telling Kirk, "I need air, I need distance, and I need peace." Kirk begged her not to go. "We can fix this," he said, voice cracking. "Please, let's just talk." But Rasheeda was done talking. "You had years to talk, Kirk. I spent my prime defending you. Now I'm gonna spend my peace rebuilding me." Meanwhile, Jasmine threw more fuel on the fire, posting a throwback pic of her son with the caption, "He doesn't need secrets. He needs a father who's honest." Fans were quick to dissect, was she shading Kirk, or was she trying to show solidarity with Rasheeda? Either way, the comment section went wild. "Too little too late," one fan wrote. "You knew what you were doing the moment you got involved with a married man." But others took a more sympathetic stance, saying, "Let's not forget who the real villain is here. Kirk been playing games with everyone's life." And through it all, Rasheeda stayed mostly silent until the next bombshell moment, an exclusive interview teaser, dropped with the Shade Room. In a dimly lit set, Rasheeda sat across from the host, hands folded, jaw clenched. "People think I'm weak because I stayed," she said in the preview, "but staying isn't weakness, it's hope. And sometimes, hope turns into a prison." That quote alone sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Comment sections lit up. "That's deep, that's real. She's done." Even celebrities weighed in. Cardi B reposted the clip with the caption, "Woo chilly, been there." But just as the world started rallying behind Rasheeda, Kirk did something unexpected. He posted a long apology video, not the usual "I'm sorry if you were hurt" kind, but one that actually had some fans raising eyebrows. "I messed up," repeatedly, he said, staring straight into the camera. "I disrespected my wife, my family, and myself. And if Rasheeda walks away from me forever, I'll deserve it." The internet didn't know how to react. Was this real remorse or just damage control? Rasheeda saw the video but said nothing. Because at this point, words meant nothing. Only actions did. And her next move would be the one that defined her legacy, not as Kirk's wife, not as a reality star, but as a woman who finally chose herself over a broken promise. The days following Kirk's public apology were a whirlwind of speculation, support, and skepticism. Fans analyzed every second of his video, pointing out his unblinking stare, his shaky voice, and the fact that for once he didn't try to justify his actions. But despite the internet's obsession with dissecting his every word, Rasheeda remained silent. She didn't repost his apology. She didn't comment. She didn't even like it. And that silence spoke volumes. Because for once, the focus wasn't on Kirk's redemption, it was on Rasheeda's liberation. While Kirk scrambled to clean up his image, Rasheeda had quietly flown to New York for a long-scheduled business meeting. Or so everyone thought. In reality, she wasn't just there for work. Sources close to Rasheeda revealed that she was meeting with a high-profile attorney, one who specialized in entertainment contracts, brand protection, and divorce settlements. And though no official paperwork had been filed yet, the fact that Rasheeda was even exploring legal options sent shockwaves through both her inner circle and her fanbase. "She's not playing anymore," a friend reportedly said. She's been protecting this man for over a decade. Now she's protecting herself. Meanwhile, back in Atlanta, Kirk was spiraling. He canceled a scheduled club appearance. He missed 2 shoots for his upcoming side project. And when paparazzi caught him outside the Frost Bistro, he looked completely out of sorts. Hood up, shades on, lips tight. No bravado. Just a man who realized he may have lost the one person who ever truly had his back. But the drama didn't stop there because Jasmine wasn't done talking. In a now-deleted live session, she dropped a bombshell. Rasheeda ain't the only one with receipts. I kept everything. Everything. And if Kirk don't stop playing, like I'm the crazy one, I might just drop the rest. That thinly veiled threat sent the internet into a frenzy. Fans begged her to spill the rest. Go live again. Post the drop the tape. But Jasmine stayed quiet after that, leaving everyone hanging and Rasheeda seething. Because while she appreciated the truth finally coming out, she didn't want a social media circus. She wanted dignity. She wanted peace. But peace was hard to find when the internet turned your marriage into a meme. Clips from Love and Hip Hop began circulating against scenes where Kirk had lied, deflected, and cried his way out of accountability. One in particular, from season 6, where Rasheeda confronted him about cheating at a cabin trip, went viral with the caption, "She's been done." But this wasn't just about old clips and public sympathy. This was about a woman reaching her limit and possibly walking away for good. The next twist, a private message, leaked by an anonymous source, allegedly from Kirk to Jasmine, sent just 2 days before Rasheeda's confrontation. In it, Kirk appeared to say, "Just chill for now. I'll handle Rasheeda." That one line, "I'll handle Rasheeda," felt like a slap in the face to fans who had watched Rasheeda bend over backward to protect this man. Handle her like what? A nuisance, a roadblock. The outrage was immediate. "He don't respect her at all," one comment read. "She needs to walk and never look back." But Rasheeda didn't walk, not yet. Instead, she returned from New York, walked straight into press, and hosted a meet and greet, like nothing was wrong. Her fans showed up in droves, some holding flowers, some crying, some just wanting to hug her. "You're not alone," one woman whispered through tears. "We watched you love him more than he ever deserved. You showed us grace. Now show us strength." That moment was captured on camera by a fan, and the video went viral within hours. Rasheeda, eyes glistening, nodding silently as a stranger held her hand. No words. Just shared pain and solidarity. Kirk, on the other hand, tried to do damage control in the worst way possible. He posted a throwback pic of him and Rasheeda from their early days, with the caption, "We've been through storms. We'll weather this too." The comments were brutal. "Delete this. You caused the storm, sir. Let her heal in peace." Rasheeda didn't respond. She was done responding. Instead, she sat down with a mental health advocate for an off-the-record session. A source close to her revealed she wanted to work on forgiveness, but not necessarily reconciliation. She reportedly said, "I can forgive him, but I don't have to keep sacrificing myself just to be loyal." But just as things seemed to be quieting down, another betrayal surfaced, this time from within her own circle. One of Rasheeda's longtime employees at Press, someone she considered a sister, was caught leaking information to gossip sites in exchange for cash. Screenshots surfaced of messages where the employee detailed Rasheeda's whereabouts, conversations, and even private text exchanges. Rasheeda was crushed. "I let this woman into my home," she allegedly told a close friend. "She held my kids. And the whole time, she was selling my pain to the blogs." That betrayal hit differently. This wasn't just Kirk's mess anymore, this was a violation of her sanctuary. Rasheeda reportedly confronted the employee face to face. No yelling, no theatrics, just one question. Was it worth it? The woman cried, begged for forgiveness, claimed she was broke and desperate. But Rasheeda had already heard enough. "You're done," she said. "Pack your things. Don't come back." And that was the moment something shifted in her. The Rasheeda the world knew, the ride-or-die wife, the calm and the chaos, the peacemaker, was gone. In her place was a woman who had finally chosen herself. Her first order of business, changing the locks on the house. Her second, updating the contracts for Prestige, making sure every employee signed airtight NDAs. "I'm done playing nice," she reportedly told her inner circle. "This is my life, my name, my legacy. I'm taking it back." And as if the universe wanted to reward her, big news came in. A national retailer reached out, expressing interest in partnering with Priest for an exclusive fashion collaboration. It was a deal that could double her revenue and she didn't waste a second accepting the meeting. "This is the beginning of the next chapter," she said confidently. "With or without him." And for the first time in a long time, Rasheeda looked free. But freedom, as Rasheeda would soon realize, comes with its own kind of pressure. While her brand was rising from the ashes of personal heartbreak, the emotional toll of the past few weeks lingered like a shadow she couldn't quite outrun. Nights were the hardest. Evenings when the house echoed with silence instead of Kirk's voice mumbling about business, or their kids watching TV in the living room, while Rasheeda prepared one of her famous homemade dinners. The space felt both peaceful and painfully empty. Her kids noticed. "Where's Daddy staying?" her youngest asked one evening while she tucked him into bed. Rasheeda paused, kissed his forehead, and replied gently, "Daddy's taking some time to think about things, grown-up things." She didn't want them to carry the weight of adult betrayal. That was her burden to carry. Alone, but not everyone was letting her carry it quietly. Jasmine was back at it, posting cryptic quotes on her story, like the "truth might sting, but lies leave scars," and sometimes the side chick becomes the only chick who tells the truth. Fans were split. Some accused her of clout chasing, while others said she had a right to speak up after years of being silenced. Rasheeda saw it all. And though it irritated her, she didn't engage. Instead, she focused on the upcoming fashion collaboration that had just been greenlit, a huge milestone for her brand and a direct reminder that she was the empire, not Kirk. Every fitting, every design choice, every business call gave her new energy. But still one thing nagged at her. During a silent drive back from the store one night, Rasheeda began replaying everything. The good, the bad, the humiliating. And then she made a decision. One more meeting with him. Not for reconciliation. Not for love, but for closure. She texted Kirk, "Meet me at the park. 6 p.m. Just us." When he arrived, she was already seated at a picnic bench beneath a huge oak tree they once used to visit when they were younger. She didn't look up when he sat down. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We need to talk like grown adults. No cameras, no crying. No bulls ****. Kirk exhaled, bracing himself. "I deserve that," he said. "Probably worse." Rasheeda nodded. "You do. But I'm not here to list everything you did wrong. I'm here to say this: I'm done. Not out of hate. Out of necessity." He stayed quiet, letting her speak. "I gave you youth. I gave you loyalty. I gave you grace, and you gave me betrayal. Repeatedly, publicly, brutally, and I took it. I took it all. For love, for image, for the kids. But now, I'm taking me back." Kirk tried to respond, but she raised a hand. "Don't speak, just listen." And for the next few minutes, she read from a handwritten note one she'd written the night before when her hands wouldn't stop shaking from anxiety. "I will always care for you. You're the father of my children. But you no longer get access to the version of me that saves you from yourself. That version of me is retired." When she finished, she folded the paper and placed it beside him. "Do what you want with it. But don't come looking for me. I won't be there to fix you anymore." Kirk's eyes glistened. "I know I ruined everything. I know I hurt you in ways I can't even fix." Rasheeda stood up, brushing imaginary lint from her jacket. "Then let that knowledge change you for you. Not for me. I'm already gone." And with that, she walked away, each step heavier than the last, but also lighter than ever. That evening, she posted a photo on Instagram, a black and white shot of her standing alone on a rooftop, the Atlanta skyline behind her. No caption, no tags. Just an image of a woman reborn in silence. The internet exploded. Celebs, influencers, and fans reposted the picture with messages of strength, liberation, and admiration. "This is what healing looks like," wrote one follower. She walked away from the fire and came out a diamond. Meanwhile, Kirk vanished from the spotlight. No more posts. No more stories. No more desperate explanations. Rumors circulated that he had checked himself into therapy. Some even speculated that VH1 producers were trying to spin this into a redemption arc for the next season. But for Rasheeda, the show was over. At least the one where she played the supporting role in someone else's narrative. Then, a twist no one saw coming. Jasmine apologized. In a surprise Instagram Live, she said, "I owe Rasheeda more than just receipts. I owe her an apology. I knew what I was doing. I got involved with a man who wasn't mine, and even when I stopped, the damage was already done." She didn't deserve that. Fans were stunned. Some praised her growth. Others remained skeptical. But the real surprise. Rasheeda messaged her, not to drag her, not to fight, but to say, "Thank you. Healing starts with truth." That brief message opened the door to something bigger, not friendship, but forgiveness. The two women were never going to be close. But they were no longer enemies. They had both survived the same storm, walked away with scars, and found a strange sort of solidarity in that. In the weeks that followed, Rasheeda flourished. The fashion collaboration launched to record sales. She was invited to speak on multiple panels about women in business, resilience, and rebuilding after betrayal. And though she never outright said she and Kirk had separated, fans noticed the subtle changes: him missing from family photos, her ring finger bare, and her captions reflecting self-love instead of couple goals. And then came the magazine cover. Essence, Rasheeda Frost. Solo. The headline read, "Rasheeda reclaimed, how I found myself after losing everything." Inside the pages, she opened up not just about the betrayal, but about the years she spent living for someone else. "I thought being loyal meant staying. But sometimes, the most loyal thing you can do for yourself is leave." That quote became iconic. Printed on merch, shared across social media, cited in self-help blogs. Women across the country found strength in her story, her poise, and her evolution. And Rasheeda. She finally found peace. Not in a man. Not in a perfect marriage, but in the quiet knowledge that she had loved deeply, fought bravely, and walked away with her dignity intact. And Kirk. He remained silent, watching from the sidelines as the woman he once betrayed became the woman the world now looked up to. Weeks turned into months, and while the social media buzz slowly died down, the impact of Rasheeda's awakening continued to ripple through every corner of her life and Kirk's. There were no explosive fights captured on camera, no messy back and forths on Instagram. Instead, what emerged was something far more powerful and rare in the reality TV world: quiet growth, personal accountability, and emotional rebirth. Rasheeda had made peace with the truth, and now she was building something new, not from the ashes of her broken marriage, but from the inner strength she had rediscovered. Her store, Pressed, had never seen so much foot traffic. Women lined up not just to shop but to connect, to thank her for inspiring them to walk away from situations they'd outgrown. She became a symbol of unshakable grace. Not the type of grace that keeps forgiving a man who won't change, but the type that forgives herself for staying too long. But one morning, just as Rasheeda was getting used to her new routine, her assistant burst into her office, phone in hand, face pale. "You're not gonna believe this," she said, flipping the screen toward Rasheeda. It was a blog headline: "Kirk Frost's alleged secret daughter speaks out." Rasheeda stared at it. Her mouth went dry. Another twist, another lie that had taken root while she was busy trying to keep her family from falling apart. The story claimed that a 21-year-old woman in Charlotte had been trying to reach Kirk privately for over a year. She believed she was his daughter from a brief relationship he had kept secret long before Love and Hip Hop even began. The girl had DNA documents and verified, but enough to stir up another firestorm online. Fans rushed to Rasheeda's page again, asking, "Did you know? Is this true? Sis, when does it end?" Rasheeda didn't respond. She sat alone in her office, heart pounding, eyes unfocused. Her first instinct was disbelief. No way, not now. Not after everything. But, deep down, the version of herself that used to be in denial had been replaced. She knew, or rather she believed it could be true. She called Kirk. No texts, no waiting. He answered on the first ring, voice low. "You saw it. Is it true?" she asked, straight to the point. He sighed. That same sigh she'd heard too many times before. "I don't know. You don't know if you have another child." Her voice was ice. "Rasheeda, I swear I was young. It was a one-time thing. I never heard from her again. If she's really mine, I'll do what's right, but I didn't know." Rasheeda hung up. No more begging. No more broken promises. If it was true, he'd handle it on his own. She was out of the Kirk Frost rescue business for good. But something shifted after that call. Rasheeda didn't cry. She didn't retreat. She called her publicist, sat down with her legal team, and made a decision that would become the final chapter of this entire saga. She was launching her own foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to helping women escape toxic relationships, rebuild their confidence, and gain financial independence. "Too many of us stay," she said in the press release. "Not because we're weak, but because we're afraid. I want to change that." Within 48 hours, #RASHEEDA, Reclaimed trended worldwide. Donations poured in. Celebrity endorsements followed, and Rasheeda Frost officially stepped into her power not as a rapper's wife, not as a TV character but as a woman who had survived and evolved. Kirk. He confirmed the child was his after a quiet DNA test, issued a private statement, and stayed out of the public eye. There were no spin-offs, no interviews, no attempts to reclaim the spotlight. For once, he let Rasheeda shine without interruption, and maybe that was the most honest thing he'd done in years. As for Jasmine, she moved on to a new relationship, a new city, and a quiet exit from the tabloid circus. She later posted, "Sometimes growth means leaving behind the chaos you once called love." And Rasheeda. She stood tall at the launch event of her foundation, flanked by her kids. Wearing a crisp white power suit and a peace in her eyes the world hadn't seen before. The speech she gave that night brought the room to tears. "This isn't about heartbreak anymore," she said. "It's about healing. It's about honoring the parts of yourself you used to silence just to keep someone else comfortable. And it's about knowing when to say, no more." Cameras flashed. Applause erupted, and somewhere in the back of the room, a woman whispered to her friend, "That's Rasheeda Frost. The woman who finally said enough." And that is how it ends, not with scandal, not with vengeance, but with a woman walking away from a legacy of pain and building a new one grounded in strength. The girl who once loved Kirk Frost with everything she had is gone. In her place stands a legend. A queen, a Survivor. And she's just getting started. And just like that, the chapter we never thought Rasheeda would write is finally complete. No longer standing in the shadows of betrayal. No longer clutching to the broken promises of a man who never truly valued her loyalty. Rasheeda has stepped fully and unapologetically into her power. Her story is no longer about surviving Kirk Frost, it's about thriving beyond him. What began as whispers in the blogs turned into the most public unraveling of a decades-long relationship. But through every painful twist, Rasheeda found something more valuable than any marriage certificate: herself. From the bombshell receipts to Jasmine's unexpected apology. From secret daughters to viral Instagram moments that had fans around the world rallying behind her, Rasheeda Frost showed the world that heartbreak doesn't have to be your ending, it can be your awakening. And while Kirk fades into the background, likely forever haunted by the woman he couldn't keep, Rasheeda continues to rise. Stronger, smarter, unshakable. Now we turn it over to you. What do you think of this unbelievable roller coaster? Did Rasheeda do the right thing walking away? Do you believe Kirk's apology meant anything, or was it just more damage control? And let's talk about Jasmine. Redemption or just another chapter in the chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We need to hear from y'all. Don't forget to like this video if you were rooting for Rasheeda from day one. Subscribe so you never miss another bombshell story like this, and hit that bell so you're first in line when the next wave of drama breaks. Because if reality TV has taught us anything, the story is never really over. Until next time, stay tuned, stay messy, and stay watching, because you already know, the tea never stops brewing.